I mean, you graduate college, you're in your early 20s, the prime of your life, so to speak. How's the job search, man?
It's going all right, man. I'm working on an editing reel. I'm gonna start doing editing full time or something, and that's pretty cool. But outside of that, just a little bit of sitting.
Yeah. Something tells me you're very depressed.
Oh, man, I'm fine.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Working Hour, the place to talk all things creative and help you grow as a creator, maybe a person. I'm Distorticon, joined today by my down and out co-host, VanguardAir.
Yo, what up, gang? How is your college experience going?
Pretty bad.
Oh shit, that's not good.
Well, hold on. If I gotta talk about this, I can't. I need something.
Cracking open a cold one for the boys.
No, actually, it's a Mountain Dew Baja Laguna Lemonade.
Bruh, Lagoon? What is this, a Scooby-Doo episode?
Dew with a blast of natural and artificial mango lemonade flavor.
Brother. Cut the camera back to me. Look at me. Zoom up on my face. Good back. All right.
Yeah. Look at me.
You got to do that for the editing. Just letting you know that.
Yeah. It's been a minute, hasn't it? And obviously, this is new. Yeah. This is probably the closest you're going to get for face reveals for either of us for a long time. Maybe forever.
Maybe for a couple of weeks.
Who knows? I could just click. Yeah. I can click two buttons and turn this off, and it's all over.
Exactly.
Yeah. I can't for you.
I'll turn off the blur, and you turn off the blur, and maybe we're both sitting here looking at the camera, and we face reveal
at the same time. Global reveal
at the same time. That's just how it works.
Hey, dap me up. Dap me up.
Bam!
Hey. Thanks, my man. All right. College is interesting because, especially, for creatives, because you have finished college for a creative degree. I'm now 1 year in, 2 semesters, 8 classes, however you want to word it. So we come at this from 2 very different experiences. And I guess backgrounds and countries. I don't know how different it would vary because you're going in person in a foreign country from me, and I'm going online in also a foreign country for you. How would you describe overall your experience? I guess because there's always so much to unpack with it, from professors, good and bad, to classmates, to the actual work, and if you think it's actually preparing you for the world, since you are now in debt, jobless, broke. Sorry, that was derogatory as fuck.
Hey, what the fuck? I have a job. All right, guys, I do have a job that is a joke. I have a job. It's not a full-time job, but it's a job. I'm getting money. I'm helping my mother pay bills. Doing the thing that a son should do. Looking after his mother as if, she's been looking after me, which is, it's the nice thing to do. But I am working towards setting myself up for the future so I can have financial security. To get into the meat and the potatoes of the entire thing, right? Because that's what we're here for, college. My college too, as a foreigner from your land, it's, I don't actually know how it is different. We call it university here. We don't call it college.
Every time
because I'm not a college freaking jock, bro.
Yeah, well, every time I've spoken to you, you're like, yeah, my uni, and I think in my head, that's not what I call it. I need to make that connection.
Yeah, so we do call it university. It sounds more posh, and overall, it's pretty awesome. My experience, I was there for 4 years of my life. First year was during COVID. It was actually peak COVID. I had to do online classes. Everyone was getting, adjusted and everything. And actually, my first year of uni experience was pretty enjoyable. I think I learned probably the most at that point. But you know how it is, man. Teachers, some of them aren't amazing at, transferring the classes online. And that's how I started with mine. Then I started going in person, which is different to how, Distort is doing it. I'm going in person, and I was, attending every single lecture and class, and, I'd sit there and, I don't know, man. My experience wasn't too bad. I think I didn't try as hard as I could, and that came to bite me back in the bum in my final semesters due to the fact that I was really stressed, man. Uni stressed me out. I don't understand how people
broke me too already, and I'm only a quarter of the way in.
Yeah, man, dude, it gets. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It gets worse.
Oh, cool. Just what I needed to hear.
How's it going for you, man? How is uni for you? What's your experience like? I don't know what to talk about with mine due to the fact that it was kind of just rocking up and doing the job. And I wish they gave me more on the job experience. I picked a degree that where I live, it cannot help you, which is, I don't know why I did that, is animation. Where I am, it is very like industrial, like labor jobs is the type of thing that we have. So it didn't really set me up for much success in my, in the area that I'm in. But, it helped me understand like how to edit better and all that. So it kind of helped me out in a way.
I guess to lay this down, we're not going to say our exact degree titles because that will dox us of where we attend college. And for you, because you went in person, that's also a big deal because that's probably not too far from where you live. So
that is true.
I am currently going for multimedia. Grossly oversimplified that. You went for what again? There was you also majored in something alongside it.
It was a bachelor of media, with a major in games. And I kind of like streamlined in animation. Like I kind of focused on the animation side of things. I don't know if that was the right word, but yeah, that's like my major. It's pretty cool.
I don't know. I think for me so far, with my degree and the way it works, it's obviously your standard kind of prerequisites that you have to take. Not even talking about gen ed stuff, like just stuff you have to take in a certain order for your degree. Already, like, I've made some interesting things. I've started learning other softwares. I started learning Figma, which we now use to plan the show. That's where that came from, was we used, because Figma has Fig Jams and just like kind of Figma project files where you actually can make stuff. We use the Fig Jam files to keep things organized, because I kind of fell in love with it, and I was like, holy shit, this has so much potential. Like, this would be perfect way to get you out of a Google Doc and actually into a way of visualizing. I don't use it for much else design wise after, like, outside of that my fall semester that I used it a lot in. It helped me a lot. It opened that door to that, and it's also a great collaboration tool, which is another reason why it works so well, that you can pop into the document whenever the hell you want and add whatever you want and make any kind of annotation. But outside of that, I mean, the kind of like Kickstarter class for it, because there's 3, I'm trying to think how do I say this without saying the name of it, but I'll refer to it as design philosophy, is kind of how the first of the 3 go, and you have to take them obviously in the order. You can't take the third one before the first one. So I took the first one. It was kind of a lot of reading textbooks and design philosophy and stuff, and kind of knowing what good and bad design is, how it should function, how it should assist people, and how it, standard stuff of safety come first, blah, blah, blah. There's a chapter about 9/11, which was interesting. Not even trying to be funny. Like, there was straight up a chapter about why you
9/11.
No, there was genuinely a chapter about 9/11 and how, not that it could have been prevented, but there was a lot of design flaws in the towers themselves that definitely didn't help when the tragedy struck.
Oh yeah. Like what's the design difference? Oh, if we build a shield around the building when this plane crashes into it, what?
Or how about you don't put all your elevators in the center of the building, so when a plane goes through it, it cuts everyone off from the top third of the building. Yeah.
Smart. Okay,
Yeah,
maybe
let's not remove 4 elevators at each corner. Let's not do that so people can actually leave in a case of an emergency. Any hoodles.
That's what you want.
My big takeaway and something that was promised in some of the classes was kind of walking out of it with kind of things that you could like that'd be so good and so thorough they could be thrown into a portfolio, which I think is already, like, I know I don't have much to speak on. I'm only 1 year down, but I think it's a very important thing as a creative to do is to build a portfolio, a collection of things that you can show people, whether it's for work or just for, you know, associates, whatever the fuck you want to call other people, your peers, and show that to people and be like, hey, this is what I do. This is what I do well. This is what I enjoy doing. So that's something I'm looking forward to as I learn more softwares, learn more about, I guess, the industry, in air quotes. I really want to sink my teeth into that kind of stuff and, you know, have a website. Like, I've been looking into actually hosting a website that is just a collection, even if it's not like publicly available. It's just so I have something that I can go, okay, this is something I made for school, or I made in my spare time over the summer, and it's really fucking good. I'm going to throw it on here just to have it. And in the off chance someone's like, oh, what's your portfolio? I'll be like, oh, you never ask. Here's my business card. That's completely deleted. Did you see that? That's not there.
Here's my business card. Literally nothing, brother.
Yeah, I don't got nothing to show you. I'm sorry. I'm wasting your time. Would you say you have anything from your 4 years that you could, because you've showed me some of your stuff before, but I don't know how much of that would help with kind of getting your foot in the door of experience and getting a job. You'd say if it's not in editing, it's, you know, working as an assistant in a studio or something, just any way to kind of get your foot in the door that isn't sitting at home staring at Premiere Pro for 6 hours a day.
Kind of. Yeah. So I, in my 3rd year, I created a video game, like a full-fledged video game with, a few people in one of my classes. It was an assignment. We had like an entire year to make the game. And I was the animator and modeler of the game. So I made quite a few animations. I do have a large like animation like folder with a bunch of stuff I've made. It's given me so much knowledge on, you know, different 3D softwares. The one that I have the most knowledge on is Maya 3D. If someone wants me to animate using that, I've got it. You give me a rig and a model, I got it fucking animated. I'm happy to go into Unity. I know the Unity software pretty well. Same with Unreal Engine. I know that pretty decently. I've worked on short films, which was, you know, pretty enjoyable. I was a cameraman and I've been an editor for short films. I've had a lot of photography experience. I've gone to like protests and took, you know, some photography. I've taken photography of, you know, different people, like portraits, and, you know, I've got quite a bit of experience under a bunch of different things. I think the main experience that it's given me is, it's taught me how to learn new software, and it's taught me how to learn new things. Like, I understand, like, oh, if this is how this works in an Adobe software, this is how it would work in like most other, you know, software that Adobe create, or, you know, anything along those lines. Like, it's just taught me how to work with people, It's taught me how to learn. It's taught me how to obviously use a shit ton of different software. And yeah, I don't know. It's just taught me about how to like communicate, I think.
Yeah, that's a very, I think, important skill. That was something that off rip, excuse me, I just started choking on my piece of gum. I'm gonna spit it out now. That's what
That's
was.
on camera, brother.
Yeah, it is. That's now immortalized. So yeah, I had some issues with that with other classmates of just refusing to fucking do anything, and that was not fun. How much of that do you think you could have done on your own versus through college? Because I think a common argument that, maybe not argument, but something that you see is when it comes to creativity, like, you know, you could get surprisingly far with just some YouTube tutorials and then like fucking around and finding out. Because that's one of the best ways to learn something, is obviously like just to do it as much as possible to get experience with it. So, I mean, other than like probably the school giving you like an Adobe Creative Cloud license and that kind of stuff, like how far do you think you could have gotten without college?
Without college, obviously for the photography side of things, to be honest, didn't need to take any of the classes.
Yeah.
I did them for like, you know, extra credits, and you know, it's interesting because it does teach me how to use a camera, and obviously, you know, framing, it teaches me about, you know, certain things, but I kind of learned that more through, you know, hands-on experience with it. There were no like classes, like, I mean, there was a, you know, the starting classes, like how to turn the camera on, how to freaking change the settings, but you can do that without college.
Yeah.
When it comes to like I guess the animation and game part of all of my stuff, like I feel like most of the stuff I did was based off of YouTube tutorials.
Yeah,
which is, yeah, it gave me so much access though. Like Maya, the 3D software is unbelievably expensive. Same with, you know, if I'm having to buy Maya, if I'm having to buy ZBrush, if I'm having to buy like the Adobe Substance Painter and
yeah,
everything like that, you're spending a lot of money.
Especially since a lot of that's probably monthly or yearly.
Yeah,
like they don't add up. Yeah.
Like I think ZBrush, when I was using it, was like $50 or $70 a month, and it was something ridiculous like that. And then Adobe on top of it, but like it gave me a discount. Like it wasn't even giving it to me for free. And I was like,
I'm fortunate enough to get
pay for it.
The Adobe stuff for free, like entirely.
Oh, that's lucky.
But I will also, you know, the moment I'm no longer a student here, you're fucked, buddy. It's gonna evaporate. Like, so
yeah, pretty much.
That's why, like, I don't know. It's weird because I don't even use that much of it, because I don't use Photoshop and Illustrator. I have the Affinity Suite, and I've known for 3 years now. I don't really want to learn spend the next 4 years learning a software and using that instead when I know it's going to expire. And I also don't like Adobe as a company. So,
yeah,
you know, like how much value can I actually get out of that? But go ahead and continue.
I mean, it does give you access though. And I think the thing is, a lot of people, the reason they choose not to learn things is because they can't, you know, get access to the things that they want to learn. And I think that's what my uni kind of did that I probably couldn't do, was get access to all these things, or learn about what the industry standards are, like the industry standards for video editing, obviously Premiere Pro, After Effects, and you know, DaVinci Resolve, you know, like basically the main software. But then you get into game art and design, and it's like, well, okay, well, I you know, I had no idea that like one of the major 3D softwares was Maya 3D. I thought it was always Blender.
Yeah.
Obviously Blender is now becoming very, very popular. Maya is also a software that, you know, most game companies that I've looked at least use. And it gives me like the practical side of things. I could learn myself, right?
Yeah.
But the written knowledge that university can give you, it's less of a, this is the only knowledge, this is all of the knowledge, here it is. It's more of a, here's knowledge and here's access on how to get that knowledge. You got to go research it, and that's your assignment. So then you come back.
It's the key.
It's technically, yeah, it's basically just unlocking the rest, because I would have never have known what software to use when doing animation, or I would never have known what the fuck like a UV shell is, and what the correct software to open that up with is.
I like your funny words, Magic Man.
Yeah, like yeah, it's basically it. I don't know. I feel like uni is sadly really good. Like,
yeah,
it is. You don't need it, but it really can help you if you're not sure where to start.
And that's also just talking about like the education side of it. Like, you can get involved in communities, you can make connections, you meet people that are going to have your back, and you can genuinely work with stuff outside of just being students. Like, as being creatives, if you can find people that you can connect with and you respect their vision for, like, that can be collaborators, man. Like, that's a big deal.
What's your opinion? Do you feel, I mean, so far you're quarter of the way through, as you said, but do you feel as if what you're learning is only available through your college?
Well, first, let me, before I say if it's only available, I would like to say it has been valuable. I don't know how much freedom you had, but I have like literally total freedom over when I do things, and when I choose to take a gen ed versus, something that's prescribed and I have to do. So I've been kind of like really split 50-50 of how I've been doing it, like 50% gen ed, 50, actual stuff related to my degree. So of those kinds of classes so far, I've taken like the design philosophy one, which is just what I'm going to call it, because it did more than that, but that's kind of like that was my biggest takeaway from it. It was honestly that textbook. It wasn't even a textbook. It was just a book by like an architect designer guy, and it was really insightful. But they treated it like the textbook for the thing, and that's fine. I own a physical copy of it now because of it, because that's how much I liked it. So there was that class, and there was a digital art one, which is the one with the prick professor.
Right. Okay.
And then this past semester in the spring, I did a photography for communications, and a It was an HTML like internet design thing about coding a website with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, that kind of stuff. So that's all I've really been able to sink my teeth into in some way so far. And I knew absolutely jack shit about HTML before that class, but all the others is kind of something I already had a general understanding of. Like, the digital art class is talking to me about shape and color and symmetry, and I'm like, I kind of already get this. I mean, that was one of the ones I literally had to take. So there was like a list of like 10, 11 of like the 50 different prescribed things I can choose that I have to take. That was one of them. So it was very much like a introductory thing, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And the photography one, it's talking about composition, rule of thirds. I'm like, I already know this. I already know most of the things about how a camera works. What was good about that class, though, even if I knew some of it ahead of time, was just the physical practice. Again, it was tedious as shit because it would be a new big assignment every week. Sometimes there were multiple big assignments every week. You take hundreds of photos, and then you learn to caption them, to tone them correctly, which is something I didn't have issues with, like toning, because I do graphic design and photo editing work already. So, learning what the AP industry standard way of captioning a photo is, so you can find it on the internet, because it's just metadata that sticks with the image. Through that physical practice, like, just taking like literally thousands of photos. I wish, like, maybe in post I'll throw up the number. I'll count the exact amount of photos I took that semester for that class. It had to have been over 1,000. It could have been 2,000. Honestly, it was insane. For all these different things of trying to apply concepts and stuff. It's been valuable, but I don't know how much I can speak on it so far because I've looked at some of the other things and it's like, oh, when I get to that, that's going to be really exciting. And I can pick and choose which path I go down. Of all the stuff here, you know, if I want to lean a little more into animation, I can do that. If I want to do more in television production or screenwriting, I can do that. There's more I can choose to pick those classes, but if I want nothing to do with animation, I just don't pick an animation class, because especially since none of them are required. But also, like, this is a perfect way to segue into it, kind of at what cost when it comes to like financial and your own time and energy and that kind of stuff. Like, it is the illusion of, is it worth it or not? That's where I think, because if this shit was free or significantly cheaper, or at least not this draining, everyone would be doing it. There's some reason some people don't go to college. Most of the time it's because they can't afford it. Like, that's the reality. Yeah, I'm already in student debt. I've already had taken out loans. Like, I'm already preparing for that when I'm out. It's like, oh, you've got that grace period, and when it's done, if you don't got a job, you're fucked, buddy. But, you know, I'm not there yet. I've got another 3 years. I do a lot of shit in my spare time that maybe some of it works out, and that can help, you know, work towards that, towards paying it off. Or maybe even the degree doesn't even get me a job somewhere, because other opportunities have opened up where that degree doesn't even help me. You know, I didn't fucking overthink myself when it came to grades in high school, just to get halfway through college and drop out because I felt like it, not because I had other reasons to. So
yeah,
I guess now is we should really kind of hammer home the fact of, is it worth it? And if it is it for everyone? Well, first off, I don't think it is for everyone necessarily, but I think most people will get value out of it. But again, at what cost?
Not everyone gets a job after, you know, uni or college is done.
Some straight up don't.
Actually, a huge part of people that finish don't get anything that's even remotely related to their degree, or they don't get anything at all. You know, you're left with this debt, and obviously if you don't get something in what you've studied, you feel bad. Or sometimes, even for me, right, if I could go back to uni and change what I studied, oh my God, I would.
You have regrets about that?
I've got regrets about it, not because I didn't enjoy it. Like, I loved animation and I loved learning how to, you know, work with people, but I also kind of would love to have, like, maybe a little bit of business, or a little bit of lore, or a little bit of teaching, or a little bit of, you know, something. And I think I should dip my toes in a little bit more. So it is worth it. But man, it's not always, you know, as easy as you think it will be.
Not always sunshine and rainbows.
Technically, right. If I wanted to right now, I could quickly whip up an editing reel, and put it out there and start earning money. And I can do that. I can do that whenever I want. But dude, it's weird, because no matter what degree you finish with, you're gonna want to have a job in that industry.
Yeah, I mean, you work so hard to get there. You'd hate to not end up there.
Exactly. Like, if I end my, like, you know, life in, like, when I'm 80 and my life's starting to end, like, I don't take my life, I die of old age.
Okay.
Or something.
Yeah, the word you worded that, like, at the beginning, I was like, worded that. At the end of my life, very soon. Like,
guys, when I kill myself. No, that's actually, you know, isn't it like Men's Mental Health Month? Hey, man.
Hey, fellas.
Guys, check up on your friends, because I'm not, you know, they're probably not all doing well.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, love each other.
Yeah.
I love my friends every day. Me and my friends keep making love. That's how it is.
Yeah, no, I know. Genuinely, check up on your fellas. Come on. Well, there's enough hate in the world. We don't need to hate each other. Continue.
Look, editing isn't a part of my degree. That is not a part of my degree.
It's not what you signed up for.
It's not what I signed up for, but God, I love it, man. I don't care, like, there are some times where I don't edit, and I'm really guilty of that. Everyone is. I've learned to love it through my degree. So even if I decide that, oh, I haven't, I'm not going to do animation, even if I do editing, it's still kind of related because, there are like in Maya 3D, all right, person who's watching this, if you fucking know anything about Maya 3D, it is, I love it. I love it, man. Oh my God, there's this guide and it's the one, where you can like change the velocity by moving the key points around and stuff. And I can't actually remember what it's called right now. Why am I blanking? I'm going to remember and I'm going to put it up right here. Boom. This thing, right? Holy, is this thing. I love being in it. I don't understand why there are some people who don't. I love being in it, and Premiere Pro and After Effects have a very similar thing. And that's what I love. I actually probably wouldn't be as good as I am at editing without my degree. And I'm sticking by that. Like, yeah, it's not directly related. It's not games, but I would feel so much worse if I, didn't do something even slightly related to it. So if you are studying, make sure that you love it. Or if you don't love it, make sure you love something that's even slightly close to it, because it will feel like a huge regret if you can't, if you can't say that what you've done has helped you get a job. It's going to be a pretty big regret.
You're at least building skills outside of it.
Yeah, because I regret it, and I'm still doing something slightly in it. So I can imagine for someone that isn't, how much worse my regret would be. You got to love it. You got to learn to love it. You have to stick it out, or at least find a connection to something that you can do. If you're at that point where you're finishing and you're thinking to yourself, I'm never going to be able to get anything in my degree, that's okay. There's always something close to what it is. Technically, if I worked a 9-to-5 job and I was in an office and I was editing people's text messages and whatever it is, I know it does way more than that. Technically, it's editing, and it's related to editing, which is related to animation.
Yeah, comes full circle. Fuck you!
Stubby fingers. What the fuck?
They made they're like little daggers.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you feel like you're going to regret it, or do you feel like you should have picked something else already?
I don't think I regret it now, and I don't think I will, because I tried being very conscious of where I was going into before I picked this degree. That's why it's multimedia and not graphic design or something, because I wanted it to be broad. I enjoy many different things, but that wasn't always the case. Like, I think 15-year-old maybe would have been like, yeah, I'll just go into video production. Fuck it, But as I got older, 16, 17, 18, I started developing this deep love for design in general, not just graphic design, but just the way things look and function is interesting to me, and making sure shit works properly and smoothly, and then worrying about the aesthetics and making it look pretty. Like, I love both sides of that. I also found it interesting how earlier you were mentioning, like, oh yeah, well, the animation, like the love for this kind of rubbed off into editing work. And now that I actually heard you say that, it makes total sense, because I kind of watched your editing work become more fluid because there's more animating now. You rebuild scenes from scratch and have all these different things flying in, all these different elements. But it's done really tastefully, because, I mean, clearly, like, the experience from other softwares and other mediums kind of came together. Some people can't always say that, but that's why, like, it's just skill building. It completely rubbed off, and of course for the better. And even if you're not working in animation now at some studio or whatever, you still have those skills. And I think with just enough time, you'll end up somewhere that's the thing about life and all, your career paths and whatever the fuck you want to call it, is it can kind of always change. Like, I mean, some people stick with what they do for 40, 50 years till the day they die. Some people like to be fluid and but still be doing all these different things, but not always one thing.
Yeah, dude, look, you're gonna be in debt from college. You're gonna fucking the 3 to 4 to 5, however many years you spend doing it. God, does it take shit out of you, man. But it, like, dude, I finished uni and I needed months upon months of rest because, like, I was getting like 4 hours of sleep every night. I remember I was talking to my mom, and not like woe is me, right? I think I just stress out more than I need to. I remember, like, I was talking to my mom. We were in the same room, and I remember she was trying to help me with an assignment because I think I was so stressed that I was like crying. But like I had weeks to do the assignment, and it was a really easy assignment. But I think because of how much stress I was building up over the years, I was thinking, what if in my final assignment I fail and I have to stay back again? What if I do something wrong now? And I think I was so stressed out that, like, I was, vomiting. I was doing any and everything I could to, like, try to help myself.
Yeah.
Uni, it is so intense for some people. Like, for me, that's how it was to me. Really stressful. For other people, I've seen people that in their final class and they're literally like on their phone and they don't give a shit and they still pass. It's hard for certain people and it's easier for certain people. You just have to learn how to go with it. If you're at the end, don't stop. If you're starting and you're thinking it's too hard, that's all right. Just stick it out a little bit longer to maybe feel like, is it just a me thing or is it actually hard? I think you should stick out something because it teaches you a little bit more about yourself and how you learn things.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I would not be who I am today without college. I think it is fundamentally amazing, and I do regret what I studied. I've come to love what I love now thanks to what I've studied. So I regret that I didn't pick something a little bit more financially stable, but it's who I am now, and that's fine. I don't regret being me. I do regret my fucking... Dude, I owe so much money! Oh, fuck, man.
This one doubloon will solve all your troubles.
Thank you. 9.
I think everyone has or will have that very much, like, like, now what type thing when it's over, especially since you're sucked into it for, your standard 4 years of... After a while, it becomes a grind. Because most people then start increasing the amount of classes they take, or they start taking it over some classes over the summer. So then there's not really a summer break, which is something you're used to in like a high school. As long as I'm not walking out of it with like total regret, which I don't think I will, because I have enough confidence that I will get some knowledge out of it and I'll make connections. Like, I've already met some people that now I talk to, and it's, you get their own perspectives of what they like and what they're into and what they want out of this degree compared to you. Are you crazy for feeling this way about this professor in this class, or does everyone else feel that way about them too? Like, kind of having those support groups, and kind of going back to what I was saying before, those same people can just be collaborators or just good friends over the years. And, it's good to have as many connections and friends in your kind of domain as possible, I think. So
it kind of just lets people know that you're able to do something and stick with it.
Yeah, that's something important, because I mean, some people, I'm not saying that's just, and that's not implying there's nothing wrong with, or there's something wrong with quitting. Some cases it's totally justified. You just can't. But other times it's, like, I've already kind of made a mental promise with myself. If I'm like over halfway done with college and something randomly starts working out, like, I'm going to ride it out. I'm not going to get to my last semester or two and then just stop. I've come this far. I've come at that point would be 75% of the way there. I'm not going to stop now. It's right there, even if it's just for a plaque or a piece of paper. You know, I'm an original quitter, you know, to grossly over summarize, like, is it worth it? Well, first, I think you got to nail the degree choice to begin with. It doesn't have to be the one as long as it's the right one. And it's okay if it changes because in most cases you can transfer no problem in between semesters to a different thing or even a different college altogether. You can, some of them you can switch to online or vice versa. You can flip, like there's more flexibility than ever. And if try and take advantage of that. If you feel like where you currently are isn't helping you, it is a big deal. It is, but also it's completely optional. If you don't think it's right for you, and if you're cool, yeah, and if you're cool with not hurling yourself into more education and then, but, you know, now student debt, and then, you know, what if I don't like it? What if this and this and this, blah, blah, blah? What if I have to move out away from home and live on a campus fucking dorm room? And that's a whole nother side of it that I won't talk about here because it's not super relevant, but that's, that if this was more of a general college episode versus college for creatives, I think I would talk about that. Yeah. Just kind of, you know, the college lifestyle and that kind of shit. Or the college experience. Yeah. Yeah. That tells me everything I need to know.
What I fucking, all right, guys, if you're at college, go to at least one party. It doesn't have to be like the massive big party. At least hang out with some friends. Make friends at college, man. The experience is, it's supposed to be a community. That's what college is. It's a community learning together. I think outside of the creative side of things, outside of whatever degree you pick, make friends.
And also be yourself because everyone else is taken. Don't be that guy that's forcing something fake because you're in a social environment. Because guess what? You live with near these fucking people. You learn with them. People will figure out pretty quickly if you're being real or not. So don't do that either. You don't want to be now living a persona of in a, you know, a place you chose to be at. You didn't pay to be here to be not yourself. So enjoy the ride, because it's kind of like high school. But just probably a little more professional, but also just as goofy, I think.
I remember we had this teacher, and man, the teachers that I actually had quite a few really kind and beautiful teachers, and like just the nicest people I've met were actually a lot of the lecturers. It's a different environment from high school fully, man. Like you become like, I went to like the pub with one of my teachers to have a drink and chat and shit. Like, dude, it's a whole different vibe, man. You can be real. I think that's the best thing about it is, yeah, dude, I some of my teachers I've seen wear a VR headset and start like doing the fucking Fortnite dance, bro. So, dude, they're people, man. They're people.
They're characters.
Yeah, it's so much better than high school, dude. If you're planning on going to college and you're actually scared about it and like you haven't started, you're maybe going to go to college next year and you're thinking it's going to be like high school, you are wrong. It is not. It is so much better. It's so funny. It's so like everyone else for the first year is so stressed, and the second year too happens, everyone's just like, bruh, we're chill. We're chill. I think if you're worried about starting, it's not scary, man, dude. Like I finished it, and I think high school was worse for me than college and uni.
I feel like going into the whole college process, which is my last year of high school, and knowing that a decision needs to be made, and graduating from high school, and kind of like that whole like period of your life, like those 6 to 8 months where like it's your last few months of high school. Maybe you've already been accepted into college, or you're applying to colleges, and then you graduate, you get accepted into one, or you know, whatever order. That's a very interesting time. Like when that was happening to me, so that was, we'll say like December 2022 to July 2023, like outside of that, like schooling changes and like kind of life shit like that, a lot of other stuff is changing. That it's a very important moment in your life. At least that's how it is here, like in America. That's how that time frame winds up. It's at 17, 18. Because that was another thing that happened during that moment. I turned 18. And that's, you know, there's so much changing. And, you know, I got rid of some people, gained some new ones, like tightened the bond with ones that I probably should have been giving a little bit more attention to, or at least if I knew they were this good of people, I would have made more of an effort to talk to them. That pre-college period is very interesting, and it's also not. What I'm saying is, don't freak out during that part. Just take, because that's, you know, the moment you're making that decision about what you're going to college for and all that kind of jazz. Do what feels right to you in that moment. Don't cave to a degree that you know you're not going to like solely because you're going to make money. Because come on, because you're paying to be there and you're spending time there. It's not like you're just paying and you get the degree and now you're in that industry. Like, you got to put that work in. You're going to make yourself very miserable working in something that you never even cared about anyway. You don't do everything for money. In the words of a fucking Talking Heads lyric, never for money, always for love.
Should I play a song that's copyrighted?
You should just fuck around, I think.
Alrighty. Okay.
From both of us here on the show, we thank you for tuning into The Working Hour. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter X, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Audible, and I guess I just stopped saying it, Google Podcasts. That's merging with YouTube Music very soon, I think. So rest in peace to the platform nobody uses. We also have a Spotify playlist featuring some of our favorite music. So if you're curious about what we listen to, go check it out. It's pinned on the More Like This section on mobile. Or if you're on desktop, you can just search songs from The Working Hour. It'll come up.
Watch this on YouTube, okay? We have our webcams on. They're blurred. They are blurred. They are blurred. But if he puts it in, it's so much better to watch this online. Rewatch this if you can on YouTube. You get to see us a little bit.
Stay smart, stay focused, and stay creative.
Good night, guys. Sleep time.